The Secret Chinese Company That Owns Everything is a documentary that explores the success of Tencent, one of China's largest and most successful technology conglomerate. The documentary reveals how Tencent has become an essential part of daily life in China, with its popular messaging app WeChat, which has over 1 billion active users. Tencent has also expanded into a variety of industries, including gaming, social media, and payments. History of Tencent. Tencent was founded in 1998 by Ma Huateng, also known as Pony Ma, who remains the company's CEO to this day. The documentary explores Ma's background and early career, including his time working for a telecom company in Shenzhen, China's Silicon Valley. Ma's experience in the telecom industry provided him with the knowledge and expertise to build Tencent's early products, which included a chat app called QQ. Ma was an introverted kid who generally stayed away from the spotlight, although was smart enough to come up with genius ideas and inventions during his college years. However, despite his intelligence, Tencent was not a product of his brain. It started as a cheap knockoff of a famous chatting platform ICQ, and was co-founded by Ma and his friends from college. The documentary explores the early stages of Tencent and how bleak the future looked for the company, as it was not originally in any way. It was a platform just like ICQ, except that it was catered to the Chinese population and was named OICQ. Initially, the chat app did not succeed. However, soon it started to grow as Ma worked harder to curate it for the people of China. Despite the initial success, the company soon ran into multiple problems regarding its name, as it was copied from the original chat room, and the major issue was that the app was not generating any money. Soon, millions of Chinese joined the app, and the number continued to rise even higher. They did not benefit the company, as OICQ was still not earning money. As the company rose higher in popularity, it was soon presented with a lawsuit by the American company that owned ICQ. This, combined with the fact that they weren't generating revenue, meant that Ma's company was on the way to its end before it had even properly began. It was saved, however, by investors and renaming the app. The chat app was renamed QQ, and by 2005, it had 500 million subscribers just in China. It was quickly becoming the go-to chat app for the majority of the Chinese population, and it rose even higher in popularity after it defeated its largest competitors, MSN, in the Chinese market. Defeating MSN was a huge breakthrough for Ma, as it was owned by Microsoft and therefore was not a small opponent. This was the main event that preceded the blowing up of the company that would become what the world knows today as Tencent. Before proceeding further, please subscribe to the channel and click on the notification icon so you would get notified when we upload the next video. Growing of the company. QQ kept rising in popularity amongst its population of Chinese users, and this motivated Pony Ma to come up with new ways to engage the users and generate revenue. The app soon included in-app purchased avatars, which gained popularity amongst younger users. It also appeared to adults, as QQ was also used as a dating app. The company soon grew to include its own news platform as well as its own games. An interesting point that is raised in the documentary is the fact that the regulations China has in place with regards to international business actually helped Tencent grow exponentially in its initial phases. For example, an international company has to partner with a Chinese local company if they want to sell its products or services in China. This helps promote local business, and Tencent took great advantage of that. One of the most fascinating aspects of Tencent's business is its gaming division. Tencent is the world's largest gaming company, with a portfolio of games that include some of the most popular titles in the world, such as Honor of Kings and League of Legends. Tencent's gaming division has been incredibly successful, with gaming revenue accounting for more than 40% of the company's total revenue in 2020. Pony Ma was also a huge celebrator of innovation. However, this definition of innovation was different. He was more appreciative of essentially copying what others have done, only making it slightly better and more appealing for his target population. So what Tencent did was invest in small game studios and provide them with the resources they need to create successful titles. This worked, and Tencent had an incredibly successful regime in the gaming market of China. Tencent's success was not limited to China. The company has expanded globally, investing in companies like Tesla and Microsoft, and acquiring stakes in companies such as Epic Games, the developer of Fortnite. The documentary explores Tencent's expanding presence in the United States and other countries, and the challenges the company faces as a Chinese company operating in a global market. WeChat, the central hub of Chinese life. Tencent's success can be attributed in part to its ability to anticipate and adapt to changes in the market. The company initially focused on chat apps and online games, but as the market evolved, Tencent expanded into social media, payments, and other areas. In 2011, Tencent launched WeChat, a messaging app that quickly became a hit in China. WeChat allowed users to send messages, make payments, order food, and book taxis all from within the app, and it quickly became an essential part of daily life in China. WeChat has penetrated the lives of virtually most of the Chinese population, providing every feature that a person with a smartphone may need. It is now incredibly successful in China, generating passive revenue just on the basis of the money transactions that take place on the app every single day. It has a mini program that provides every other app within the WeChat app itself. Therefore, the users don't need to install any more apps on their phone. However, being such a huge part of the everyday life of the citizens, it raises multiple concerns regarding the privacy and security of the Chinese population. Tencent and the Chinese government, surveillance and control. The ties between CCP, the Chinese government, and Tencent started becoming more apparent after the WeChat app had already penetrated every aspect of a regular Chinese person. The amount of success Tencent has had in China is insurmountable and probably would not have been possible without the help of the Chinese government. The deal they cut therefore became quickly apparent. In exchange for the continued success of Tencent in China, WeChat has to share any personal data of its users should the government require it. The collaboration between CCP and Tencent provided the Chinese government with a perfect way to hack into the personal lives of its citizens. Taking it one step further, the CCP has overtaken and continues to censor any sensitive data that might be exchanged between users. Users get their accounts deleted in case they say something offensive, and are even interrogated by the police. Despite this very evident breach of privacy, several users in China continue to use WeChat on a regular basis. This demonstrates the way this app has become a part of the essential life of a Chinese person. The compliance of Tencent with the Chinese government, even if the user is not Chinese and resides elsewhere, has somewhat impacted its global user base and limited its global reach. The fear and threat of Tencent's control are not limited to China. The documentary explores how Tencent's expanding global presence has raised concerns about the company's influence in other countries. In particular, Tencent investments in companies like Tesla and Snapchat and its expanding presence in the United States have raised concerns about the company's potential to exert control over information and communication in other countries. Tencent and the global empire. Although WeChat has not been as successful globally as it has been in China, Tencent has still found ways to penetrate the global market. Tencent continually invested in big companies internationally, including Reddit and Discord. This gave Tencent a somewhat decent standing in the international market. However, compared to its competitor TikTok, Tencent has not found worldwide success. Initially, when TikTok was becoming a bigger name in the world, Tencent tried to stop its progress by blocking it on WeChat and introducing similar features in its own app. As is apparent, the tactics that Tencent used did not work, and TikTok continued to expand globally. This was not ideal, but did little to damage the decent standing Tencent had already developed in China and in the world. Future of Tencent. Tencent had a period of struggle recently when the Chinese government began to update its policies regarding gaming and international finance. These policies greatly affected Tencent because the backing of the CCP was one of the reasons behind its huge success. Tencent struggled initially, but ultimately had to comply with the government's demands and reproduce some of its products according to government standards. For example, its massively popular game called PUBG was criticized by the government for being violent and having players that were underage. Tencent had to redesign the game to make it less violent and essentially turn the main players into patriots fighting for their country. This was not very well received by the WeChat users. However, they had little choice in the matter. Pony Ma has had to comply with the standards that Chinese government set, as it is easy for CCP to send Tencent to its downfall. Currently, Tencent continues to abide by the rules CCP projects on it, and in exchange, the government lets Tencent continue to rule the lives of the Chinese population. Tencent has had a backlash from international agencies that have raised concerns regarding its surveillance and censorship policies. Despite that, due to the investment Tencent has made in several big companies around the globe, and particularly in America, protects it from becoming outright extinct. Due to its massive clientele and feasibility, Tencent continues to be decently successful, and there is very little chance of it collapsing anytime soon.